Beginning of the cinema. The story of cinema is short compared to other arts, but in its first centenary, celebrated in 1995, it has already produced several masterpieces. Between the inventions that started cinema, it is important to mention Chinese shadow silhouette project on the lower screen that was emerged in China 5,000 years before Christ. Another predecessor was a magic lantern, box equipped with a light source and lens that sent a screen magnetic image, invented by the German Antonio Kircher in the 7th century. The invention of photography in the 19th century by the French Joseph Nice for Nipsey and Louis-Jacques Daguerre opened the way of the spectacle of the film, which also owes its existence to the research of English Peter Mark Roget and the Belgian Joseph Antoine Plateau on the persistence of the image in the retina after have been viewed. In 1833, the British Horner devised the zoetrope game based on the circular succession of images. In 1877, Frenchman Emile Renault created the optical cipher, combining magic lantern and mirrors to project movies of cartoons onto a screen. Edward Mudbury in the United States experienced the zoopteroscope, decomposing frames horse racing. Finally, another American, the prolific inventor Thomas Alva Edison, developed, with the help of Sussman Williams, the celluloid film and apparatus for individual viewing films called kinetoscope. The brothers Louis and Auguste Lumière, French, were able to project magnificent images on a screen thanks to the cinematograph, invention equipped with a mechanism that takes the image to the screen. In the public presentation of 28 December 1895 in Paris, the public saw for the first time films such as The Octave, The Lumière Factory Works, and Arrival of a Train Station, brief testimonies of everyday life.
Chaplin was born in London in 1889 and began his career as a mime, doing tours to showcase their art. In 1913, during on horse trips around the world, this great actor met the filmmaker Mack Sennett, New York, United States, who hired him to star in their film, Life and Work. His most famous character was the tramp Charlie Chaplin, upset and funny. This character denounced social injustice, so smart and funny. This great artist knew how to laugh and also cry. In 1918, at the height of his success, he opened his own film company and from there made his own screenplays and directed films. Outspoken critic of society, he never tired of denouncing the major social problems such as poverty and unemployment. Produced great works and the circus, striptease, and city life. The film The Circus, Chaplin won his first Oscar in 1929 honorary. Adapt silent cinema, the filmmaker also was against the emergence of sound cinema. But as a great artist who was some adapt and returned to produce a true masterpiece, the great detector risk affected modern times and limelight.
Second film records, the American David W. Griffith was the first to use the close and dramatic camera movement, and the filmmaker who shot the first American feature film in the 1915 with the film Birth of a Nation. During 1950 and 1920, westerns, comedies, and melodramas were the predominant styles of films in the United States. At the time of silent movies, who stood out was Charlie Chaplin, a mime who became the most iconic character in the history of cinema. His first film was in 1914, called Carlitos Repórter. During the same period, productions of films in Hollywood strengthened, with the emergence of the first major movie studios, famous as the famous players, Paramount, and Fox Films Corporation. From 1920, the American film industry is consolidating through the styles of thrillers, musicals, and comedy. In 1926, the movie Don Juan is the first film to synchronize senses with sounds, thanks the equipment purchased by Warner Brothers in the same years. In the 30s, stars and genres have multiplied. The sound film was consolidated, representing a 51% of production, and the sound was spread all over the world.
Many actors have made history in North American theater. For example, William Clark Gable, known as Clark Gable, was an American film actor most famous for his role as Red Butler in the 1939 Civil War epic film Gone with the Wind, in which he starred with Vivian Leigh. The American Film Institute named Gable seventh among the greatest male stars of all time. He was nicknamed the King of Hollywood. Other actor is James Maitland, known as Jimmy Stewart, was an American film and stage actor, known for his distinctive voice and persona. Over the course of his career, he starred in many films widely considered classics and was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, winning one in competition and receiving one Lifetime Achievement Award. He was a major MGM contract star. Throughout his 7 decades in Hollywood, Stewart cultivated a versatile career and recognized screen image in such classics as Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, The Mortal Storm, The Philadelphia Story, and Harvey. For example of actress, we have Marilyn Monroe, was an American actress, model, and singer who became a major sex symbol, starring in a number of commercially successful motion pictures during the 1950s and early 1960s. She starred in films such as Don't Butter the Knock, The 7-Year Itch, and Some Like It Hot.
Some of the best directors in the history of cinema. Steven Spielberg have 3 Academy Awards: Saving Private Ryan, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Jurassic Park, The Terminal, and Empire of the Sun are movies of this director. Quentin Tarantino, he have 1 Academy Award: Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastard, and Reservoir Dogs are movies of this director. Stanley Kubrick, he have 1 Academy Award: 2001 A Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket, A Clockwork Orange, Spartacus, and Doctor Strangelove are movies of this director. Robert Zemeckis, he have one Academy Award. Beowulf, Castaway, Contact, Forrest Gump, and Back to the Future, the trilogy, are movies of this director. James Cameron, he have 3 Academy Awards: Titanic, The Terminator 1, The Terminator 2, Aliens, True Lies, and Avatar are movies of this director. Martin Scorsese, he have 1 Academy Award: The Departed, Goodfellas, Gangs of New York, The Aviator, Stutter Island, and Hugo are movies of this director.